Welcome back to Prime Time. And before you hop into this video today, go ahead and grab your meal, your drink, your blunt, or your snack, and tell your man or sneaky link that you will call them back. Cause Prime just uploaded a new Storytime. Whew, y'all. Last night was crazy. So today, it's Saturday. So yesterday was Friday. Y'all gonna get this video tomorrow, which is Sunday. And usually I record sooner than this. I usually record a story time for y'all on Fridays. And you know, I had a story time ready for y'all to drop, but y'all finna have to get that story time in like 3 weeks, because this last night I'm going to have to break into 2 parts, because last night was big. And I'm finna tell y'all why. Cause bitch. So this is exactly what I had on yesterday, with some pants and, you know, some pink shoes, pink / cotton candy shoes. Like, I was looking real good. So I originally went to Chicago for a fashion show, cause you know my friend, she was hosting a fashion show. I'm like, okay friend, I'm finna come, you know, support you, blah blah blah. So you know, I get out to Chicago, and y'all, it was packed as fuck. Like, I mean, the streets was filled with people. Cars was everywhere. I couldn't find no parking. And the parking that I did find, bitch, they was trying to charge a bitch $30 to $50 just to park the car. And I'm just like, it ain't gonna work for me. Look, love my friend down, but I'm just like, not for no parking. Not for no parking. So, you know, I'm like, look, friend, I'm not gonna make it, you know, I'm just gonna go home. They like, damn, like, you came out all this way. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, blue. But so I ended up leaving the area, and, you know, I was still in Chicago. And while I was still in Chicago, you know, I opened that Sniffies site again. So while I'm on this Sniffy site, y'all, I see like 2 orgies happening. So I'm just like, so it got this thing where you could like see orgies going down and stuff, like. And y'all, I ain't never had an orgy before, so I kind of like wanted to cross that off my bucket list. I was like, oh my god, you know, I should go to an orgy. I don't know, but I was like, I'm ready for it. Like, I was ready because I felt like I was looking good. I'm like, look, I want to go to an orgy. Like, I was feeling good, looking good. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. So at this point, it's like, I want to say it's like 8 o'clock. It's like 8 o'clock, and the orgy said that it was about to start at 8:30. I might put it up on the screen so y'all can see. Nah, that's supposed information. I'm gonna block out some shit, so but y'all can see some of the shit. I'm not gonna put the address. I don't want to like expose nobody. So I head to the orgy place. You know, I head to the address. You know, I found some parking after like 15 fucking minutes. At this point, I want to say it's like 8:40 something. It's like 8:40 something, and you know, I'm over here buzzing the door because, you know, it was like a luxury apartment complex. So, you know, I'm buzzing the door, and like, wasn't nobody answering. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? This look like the right number. Like, that's what it said on, you know, the invitation to the orgy. I'm like, damn, like, what's going on? So, you know, I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, I guess I'm already late, so I guess they started without me, because I'm like 10 minutes late. 10, 15 minutes late at this point. So, you know, I go back to my car. And that's when one of the guys from the orgy, not the host itself, but one of the guys attending, ended up texting me and was like, hey, yo, did you... Damn, I forgot exactly what he said, but he was like, are you inside? I'm gonna put the messages up if I can. Are you inside? I'm like, no. I'm like, could you let me in? Because he told me he was in the lobby and shit like that. So I'm like, okay. But when he went to the apartment door, he heard some arguing going on. I was like, oh shit, you heard some arguing, like, the fuck? As me and him texting, I head back to the apartment, and now I'm inside, and I get let inside by this couple who was going inside too. So now I'm in. So I go to the elevator. He texts me, he like, where you at? I'm like, I'm in the elevator now. He like, okay, go to the floor, blah, 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 and then go to the door and see if like it's going, like if they ready now. So I go to the floor, go to they door number, and I go to the door, I listen. I'm listening, and I hear two motherfuckers in there arguing, two men fighting. Not like fist fighting, but like verbally, like they having an altercation. I'm like, oh shit, like what's going on? Like I didn't even want to knock, y'all. So I'm just standing there listening to their conversation. And then all of a sudden I hear fight over, we gotta get this shit rolling. And when that was said, all of a sudden I see this other guy. Come, and he stops next to me. He's like, oh, hey. I'm like, hey. He's like, you must be here for the orgy. I'm like, yeah. So this guy, he was like this South Asian guy. I want to say Indian. Here, damn, I don't want to mess this up. He Indian, South Asian. That's how he looks. And I'm like, okay, cool. He like, did you knock? I'm like, nah. I'm like, they was in here arguing like literally like 30 seconds ago, so I didn't really want to knock. He like, shit. He like, well, it's already like 8:50 now. I'm like, yeah, I know. So he knocked on the door, and then they open the door and let us two in. So as they letting us in, I'm texting the guy who I was texting before I got in. I'm like, look, come upstairs, because he told me he was still in the lobby. We sit down, and all of a sudden I tell him, I'm like, another guy is coming because he said he was waiting in the lobby. They like, okay, cool. So they complimented me. They like, oh, we love your shirt, because I had this on exactly. And I'm like, thank you so much. They're like, where you get it from? I'm telling them where we got it from, all of that. And then that's when they heard a knock on the door, which was from the guy that I was texting. So the guy I was texting, he comes in, and now this guy, he was an Asian guy. He was tall. I want to say that guy was probably like, I don't know, like 5'10". 5'10", not that tall, but I'm short. But so he seemed tall to me. He was fine. Like he looked like Shang-Chi, like, but with a beard. But he was fine. And let me describe the dudes who was hosting the orgy. So at this point, it's like 5 of us in the room now. It's this Brazilian guy who was fine, and then you had this white guy named James. And mind you, James was missing a tooth, but he was still decent. But when he opened his mouth, it's like, oh, that missing tooth is a little distracting, because he had a front missing tooth missing. But okay, everybody was looking good. I'm like, okay, I was feeling real good about this, because I'm like, everybody looks, decent. Looks good. So while we talking, chopping it up, telling each other our names, that's when James had the audacity to tell the other two guys, the Asian and the South Asian guy, that he was like, not to be rude, but you guys aren't my type. He is, though. And then he put it to me. He was like, I love like smaller body guys, blah blah blah. And I was like, damn, like, I'm thinking in my head, like, I tell him thank you, but in my head I'm like, damn, like, I'm happy, I'm his type, but at the same time it's like, why would he say that rude ass shit? Like, why would he say that? Because this is supposed to be an orgy, so even if you're not attracted to everybody, you're not supposed to like say that. I mean, you could probably like, show it when it gets to going, but like, you wasn't supposed to say that. So now the energy in the room is weird as fuck and awkward. And now he like, do you guys smoke? I said no. The other two guys also said no. And the Brazilian guy was like, oh, well, do you guys want some water? I'm like, no. Everybody else was like, no. So the Brazilian guy is like trying to put like porn on the TV and shit. And we're just talking to James. And James is asking, can he smoke? I'm like, no, I don't smoke. He's like, well, not weed, like coke. I'm like, hell no, I really don't do coke, baby. Like, I don't do coke. I don't know about them, but I don't do coke. So that's when other two guys like, nah, we don't do that either. That's when the Brazilian and the white guy start arguing back and forth. So we just sitting there like, damn, what the fuck? Because They wanted to smoke. And then that's when James was like, well, they're going to get secondhand high if we smoke, blah, 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 blah. No, this is what the Brazilian said. And then James was like, well, I'm trying to smoke. You know, I just woke up, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking to myself, well, what? You just woke up. Whatever. So that's when the Asian guy was like, oh, well, if you guys are going to smoke, I can't be getting secondhand high because of my job. I kind of knew that was a lie, because I feel like after the white guy said what he said, like, them other two guys was like blue as fuck, and I could tell. So the Asian guy was ready to go. So he leave, y'all. The Asian guy leave. And damn, I'm like, so I start texting him. I'm like, damn, why you leave, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I know that was a lie. Like, I already know he left because of what the white guy said. Which I thought was kind of like bogus as fuck, because to me, I thought he was the less attractive guy there, even though he wasn't ugly, but he was the least attractive guy there. Because I'm like, bro, you missing a tooth, and you got the audacity to tell these other fine ass Asian men that they're not your type. I mean, because they wasn't fat, but you know, they had like, you know, they was thicker boys. They had like dad bods, which I thought was attractive. And plus, the Asian guy was fine. He looked like Shang-Chi with a mustache, dog. He looked real fine. And the South Asian guy, he was decent too. He looked like one of those Indian guys that when you go to the dentist, he's your dentist. If you know, you know. And the Brazilian guy was fine. Like, I don't even need to get no description of him. Y'all all know Brazilian people are so fucking beautiful. So, he was like the finest of them all. So, I'm like, damn. And then you had me. You know, I don't want to be cocky, but I was the, you know, the baddest bitch there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be cocky, but I was looking good. You know, I could tell, you know, everybody was feeling my energy. You know, I came near high energy, and you know, I'm looking cute, so they was really fucking with me. So after the Asian guy leaves, that's when me and the South Asian guy, you know, we started talking, chopping it up, because the Brazilian and the white guy start arguing back and forth, y'all. They start arguing again, but then they went to the other room to argue. So Caleb like, ooh, I just said that man's name. So me and Caleb pretty much look at each other. I'm just going to use Caleb for the South Asian guy at this point. And the white guy name was, I'm just going to use first names because who gives a fuck, was James. And the other guy name was Diego. It was like Diego, but with a T, so it was like Diego. So I'm like, which was kind of cute. I'm like, oh, this is different. I ain't never heard of that. And you know what's sad? I forgot the Asian guy name. But he gonna be in the part 2 because I forgot his name anyway. Whatever. We just gonna call him Asian guy for now. But so at this point he gone. So me and Kayla still on the couch. We talking, chopping it up. We like, damn, is these motherfuckers really arguing? Like what the fuck? That's when Kayla was like, you think we should leave? I'm like, yeah, I think we should. So as we get up to like put our shirts back on, because when we came in, we kind of like took our shirts off, you know, trying to get comfortable. So as we put our shirts back on, I'm just like, you know what? No, let's start, and maybe if we start, they gonna join us. And you're like, you right, that's a good idea. So he had no problem with that look. He grabbed my little body ass up, and we started making out. You know, we got back undressed and shit. And so at this point, we fully naked on a bed, making the fuck out, grinding on top of each other and shit like that. So, damn, I should probably say ages. How old was these guys? Damn, I don't even remember. There was some older guys. I want to say they was in their 30s, mid 30s, early 30s. Except for the Asian guy. I want to say he was younger. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, in their 30s, except for the Asian guy. The Asian guy, I want to say, was the youngest guy there, but he left at this point. So 5 minutes of me and Caleb, you know, kissing, making out, grinding on top of their bed, and these motherfuckers in the other room still arguing. Like, but you know, they came in there and saw what we was doing and continued to argue, bitch, in front of us. So that's when I pull away from Caleb. I'm like, look, we should just go because these motherfuckers is turning me off. I'm like, you not turning me off, but like they turning me off with this whatever the fuck going on. I don't even know what they was really arguing about. I think it was like because James really wanted to smoke and Diego didn't. I don't know. It was some whole other shit, but I wasn't really listening to like exactly what they was saying. So me and Caleb get off the bed. We start getting dressed, and that's when I'm like, yeah, we finna go. That's when James was like, oh, damn. And Diego's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, we finna go. And that's when Diego's like, oh, I'm a photographer. Yeah, because I ended up saying something about photography when I walked in. And I'm like, oh, you got the background and shit like that? Because I'm like, he like, yeah, I got some professional photos. I want to show you my work. So I saw a little bit of his work before I left. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to contact you. So we traded Instagrams. After we traded Instagrams, that's when me, Caleb, and James left the apartment building. Yeah. We left the apartment. Because James was like, well, let me go with you guys because me and him is like, it's bad right now. I'm like, okay. So as we went on the elevator to go back downstairs to the lobby, Diego and James start arguing again in a motherfucking hallway. So Diego is yelling at him from the door to come back. And James is like, no, I said I'm fucking leaving, blah, blah, blah. Like, these motherfuckers arguing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Me and Caleb look at each other. We look at these motherfuckers and look back at each other like, what the fuck is going on? So that's when the elevator open. All three of us hop in, me, James, and Caleb. We in the elevator, we go down. That's when James like, yeah, I'm tired of this motherfucker. Y'all need to stay out of relationships, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so how long y'all been together? He like, we've been together for 6 months. And I'm just like, 6 months? Y'all motherfuckers arguing like y'all a married couple. Like, and y'all only been together for 6 months? He like, yeah, it's been 6 months. And then he like, I gotta leave because this motherfucker got an order of protection against me. So if he call the police, he could get me arrested. I'm like, how the fuck does this motherfucker got an order of protection against you and y'all only been dating for 6 months? Y'all, I didn't understand. I'm like, I think it was because like James was low-key a crackhead because since he told me he doing coke, I'm like, I felt like James was missing a few screws. He was missing a few screws. And like his breath stank, and then I heard in an argument earlier that he didn't take a shower. He like, I need to shower anyway. I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck did you not shower when you knew an orgy was about to happen? I don't fucking know, y'all. I don't know. So I'm texting the Asian guy on my phone while James is talking, and I'm telling him like, at this point, like, since we out here, we might as well go to Steamworks, which is a gay bathhouse. So we finally make it to the lobby because we was on the 19th floor. So we finally made it to the lobby. And that's when Caleb like parted ways. He's like, okay, I'm finna go home. I'm like, yeah, me too. It was nice meeting you guys. That's when James was like, Dante, can you follow me? I'm like, he's like, yeah, come on with me. Just come follow me to my hotel. I'm like, okay. Caleb looked at me. He like, we was kind of like speaking to telepathically. So he pretty much told me good luck with his eyes. I was like, oh shit, bitch, I don't know. So I followed James for like a little bit. James is still talking. That's when he started complimenting me again. He like, you're really cute. Like, getting in a relationship. Like, he like, you want to go to California with me? I'm like, he like, I'll pay for everything. Like, we should go to California together. I'm like, I can't do that. I got family out here. Like, he like, I know you probably nervous. I know we just met, but like, we really should go to California together. I'm like, bruh, how the fuck? So I eventually end up leaving him because I was like, look, James, you're cool as fuck, but I gotta go back to my car because I don't even know if I parked right and I don't want to get told. He like, okay, well, take my number. So I took his number. He like, I really hope I see you again. I'm like, okay, yeah, you gonna see me again? In the back of my head, I'm like, oh, hell no, because this was bad. Like, it was too much going on for me. So I end up leaving, get into my car, and y'all, this is when I proceeded to make my way to Steamworks. Because that's when the agent was like, okay, I'm here. Like, y'all pulling up? So, I'm finna cut the video off right here. And we just gonna have to do a part 2 next Sunday, because it's gonna be way too long. Way too long if I tell y'all about that too. But if you made it through this whole video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and please hit that notification bell so you don't miss when I upload. And y'all, when me and James parted ways, he kind of like kissed me on the cheek. So now a bitch got like a pimple right here. Hold on. So I got a fucking pimple on my motherfucking face. Because he done kissed me on the motherfucking cheek. I'm like, oh my fucking God. I really didn't even want to get on camera. I didn't even want to get on camera because I'm like, I got a fucking pimple. Fuck. But yeah, I love y'all so much. Like, I've been loving the support, the comments, everybody who's been commenting, liking, sharing. I fuck with y'all heavy because y'all fuck with me heavy. Okay? Like, I really love y'all down. So, without further ado, I'm just going to end the video off right here. And y'all just going to have to get part 2 next Sunday. So, I'll catch y'all next time on another Prime Time.